Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I know that you guys heard the promise from me last week from watching the WWE NXT pay-per-view. Was basically just talking about how much I liked the show, and I've watched. I believe that was the third special that they had done, maybe even the fourth. I had watched all the specials up to that point, and I kept on saying that these are really damn good shows. But I kept on having a little bit of a question mark in my mind, knowing that the wrestling was good, but not really knowing the characters that well, and just telling myself, you know what, Steve, you're not really watching TNA anymore. Once TNA gets relaunched, when it comes down to it, you're probably not going to be watching that anymore. You have a WWE network, you're watching a lot of things on there, but one of the things that you're sort of neglecting is NXT, which is first run television. It's put up on there just for the WWE network subscribers, and it's probably something that you should be watching. Watching the starts of tomorrow, there's lots of talk about all of the big names that are involved with NXT right now, whether if it's Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, Kevin Owens, I apologize. I just know their other names better than their other ones. Prince Devitt and Kenta. Those are the five big names that are down there right now, and it seems like they're all really going to get the mega push that's down there. There's a lot of people that are really just say that NXT is a better show than WWE Raw. People are really tired of sitting in front of the television for 3 hours on Monday nights. It's taken 2 years. I remember making videos basically saying that 3 hours for Monday Night Raw is just too long, and I thought it would honestly die out faster than it does now, but you can definitely tell by looking at ratings numbers that those are things that you care about, that sitting through Monday Night Raw is an eternity. If you watch a basketball game, you watch a baseball game, most sporting events on average last about 3 hours, but honestly when it comes down to it, even football doesn't really hold my attention at some point. Normally at halftime you go out and you start grilling a tri-tip, or you start grilling some ribs, getting some food ready for the second half, and you have a little bit of break. With wrestling, you got to sit there, and if you don't, you normally know what segments are going to be the big segments, coming in and going out of each hour, but at the bottom of the hours, a lot of times there's just shit on there that you just don't really even care about at all. So basically, NXT looks like a damn good show. 1 hour of television on a Thursday night. I made it a commitment to myself, and I'm going to live up to it, to just basically watching these shows. And tonight was the December 18th show. I don't really read, or I don't really hear the spoilers. I heard a few of the matches that were going to be on this run of NXT shows, but I don't really know a lot about it. So it's going to be fun for me to sit down and watch these shows and learn the new characters that come along with this. This show opened up with Adrian Neville coming out, basically talking about how great the Revolution show was, and he really wished that he could be calling out Sami Zayn to come out to a big just a big ovation from all the crowds to welcome him in as the new NXT champion, but he couldn't do that basically because at the end of the show Kevin Owens took him out, and basically it came down to the point where Neville just kept on picking at Owens, and Owens finally came out of the back, and Owens told Adrian Neville, said, "Hey, I don't have a problem with you, but if you're looking for a fight, I'm going to give you one." So basically that's all that was needed in order to set the main event of the night, as Adrian Neville against Kevin Owens. Of course, as I talked about earlier, these are two of the biggest stars that are in NXT that they're building for the future. So to give this away as a main event on tonight's show was a really, really big deal, and was one that I was sure that I was glad that I watched. As they were setting up the show, it was all about last week. They were showing clips when they were coming in and out of every segment, basically showing everything that happened, whether if it was Sami Zayn getting his big win, Charlotte getting the win. They showed the Lucha Dragons. They got their win over the Vaudevillains. Lots of big matches happened on that show, and it really, really was a good one. One of the matches that they were setting up for the night was basically Bayley going up against Becky Lynch. On the pre-show of the NXT Revolution show, basically Bayley was taken out by Becky Lynch, and Bayley was trying to get her match. Bayley, to me, honestly, I know a little bit about her, is that she's supposed to be like the good girl next door type that is a good wrestler. She doesn't really have a whole lot of attitude, but with Becky Lynch, it seemed like she was pushing the outer limits of her character, basically trying to get more aggressive, talking some trash. It made for a pretty good match, basically because Becky Lynch took out Bayley's knee. She was exposed. She was wearing a knee brace on that knee. And during the match, Becky Lynch was able to kick the back of Bayley's leg, which basically just made her leg collapse on her. From there, Becky Lynch slapped on a clover leaf, and basically they were tapping out, and Becky Lynch got the win. She looks to be like the next one of the biggest stars. She's a pretty hot-looking redhead. I believe this is the second time I saw her wrestle. The last time I think was on the show that Adrian Neville wrestled Rob Van Dam, and she came like singing and dancing after the ring like she was like on the Lord of the Dance or something like that. I could tell sort of like from the promo that she did before that she had just recently turned heel. Looks like that's something that I missed along the way. We go to the back where William Regal is looking over some documents, I take it, and the vaudevillains come in. The segment basically started in normal time, and then basically when the vaudevillains came onto the screen, we saw the filter go onto the camera pretty much, and they basically showed the proof to William Regal that at the pay-per-view basically they lost their match without really losing it. The referee made the 3 count on the wrong man who wasn't legal inside of the match. And they basically asked for a rematch. William Regal said that he was going to talk to the referee. He was going to find a way to make this right, but there was going to be no rematch going down tonight. I was thinking that he was going to say that the Lucha Dragons were already involved in a match, but they were nowhere to be seen from there. Another big thing that came down off of the show is basically Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin having a stare down during their match. The very opening of this, we had Bull Dempsey coming down and wrestling a match that lasted about a minute. They didn't even tell us who the other guy's name was. You can tell that it was really nothing really going on at all. Basically, Bull got into the ring, whole bunch of motion. He had a diving headbutt for the win in about a minute. As he was walking up the ramp, Baron Corbin came walking down. I didn't even see the guy get in the ring that he was going to wrestle. They ring the bell for his match. That match lasted about 11 seconds with Baron Corbin hitting the end of days. When that match was done, basically Baron Corbin came walking right up to Bull Dempsey, and they have another stare down on top of the ramp. Basically from there, Bull Dempsey shoved Baron Corbin and then took the high road and ran away, basically trying just to get into the head of who he was. From there, they go to these guys. I honestly have seen... I've heard of these guys, I've seen pictures of these guys, but I don't know anything about them. And basically it's Enzo and Cass, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy is the other guy's name. They came out to the ring. I thought these guys were heels. They were the most annoying thing that I had ever heard. The Full Sail crowd was really into what they were doing. They were all going along with the promo. They came down there, they sang like the 12 Days of Christmas in their own version. They had a pretty hot chick with them. But this is one of the reasons I need to start watching NXT, because basically I didn't know anything about these guys. I would have sworn they were heels trying to act like the New Age Outlaws, and out came the Ascension, who I know are heels. So I was like, these guys are baby faces? I never want to see these guys on my television ever again. They have heat that makes me want to rip my ears off. Maybe I just don't know enough about them. They have the match against the Ascension, which lasts about a minute. The Ascension just comes in and they just straight up kill Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. I guess now that the Ascension's getting the call up to the main roster, we've seen their promos on Raw and SmackDown over the last week. I'm guessing that more than likely their jobbing days are done. They lost the championships to the Lucha Dragons, and then after that, they lost on, didn't they lose on the NXT Revolution show? I can't remember. I think they wrestled the match. Did they lose to, because the Vaudevillains wrestled them. If they were on there, I don't know. But my guess is more than likely, until we see them on Raw or SmackDown, whenever they make their debut, they're going to be killing everybody until that point. So that's probably what they're doing for right now. From there, they rolled over into the main event, which was Adrian Neville against Kevin Owens. This match was a very, very slow start to what was going down. Basically, every time Neville and Owens came close to each other and they started to start a little bit, basically Owens rolled out of the ring and took the high road, and which basically was making Neville wait and wait and wait, which played into the very end. Once the match started going, I thought that they had a real lot of charisma inside of the ring. These guys were really beating the hell out of each other. Basically, Kevin Owens was just trying to win the fight. Adrian Neville was trying to beat this guy up for beating his friend up at the pay-per-view and taking him out, basically with the stretcher job. Basically, they were saying they didn't know when Sami Zayn was going to make his comeback, but more than likely that's going to be the big story of these sets of shows that are going to lead us to the next special, whenever that's going to be. Basically, there was a point in the match when Owens rolled out of the ring to catch a breather, and Adrian Neville said, forget this. You've had enough breathers throughout this match. I'm going to take the match to you. He goes running off the ropes, and he dives out, and he hits Owens outside of the ring. It takes him a few seconds for both of these guys to recover, and as Neville is basically trying to get back up into the ring to stop the count, Kevin Owens runs Neville into the ring post where they fall down. Both guys get counted out. Very, very smart, because that was the first thing I was thinking, is that basically you're not going to have Owens lose this match. And Neville, he just lost the NXT Championship. More than likely, he's not going to be wanting to lose his first match coming back from there either. So you're short in the sports spot. Giving us a real big match, but you don't want to make either of these guys look soft coming off of how great that pay-per-view was. So having a double countout was pretty good. Once the countout was done, Kevin Owens got up and he hoisted Adrian Neville up and gave him one of those power bombs onto the outside of the ring on the apron. Looked really, really sick, and basically Neville fell down to the floor. From there, he had to be rolled out on a gurney. Owens, went back. He wrestled the match with a Band-Aid on there. He lost the match via double countout, but he's going to live to fight another day, and we're going to have to see how they build to this. Sami Zayn's going to be out for a little bit. More than likely, it's going to be just like his Ring of Honor run, where he finally does return out of the middle of nowhere, attacking Kevin Owens, and it's on from there. I think we all know how great Final Battle was, and all the other matches that they had. So I think we're all looking forward to seeing the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn match, which they're probably going to hold off into the next show. So we'll say peace out, and we'll see you guys down the road. NXT was fun this week. Peace out.